Every year, thousands of people reverse a wide spectrum of cancers by going outside the system to seek alternative treatments. As I researched these treatments, I couldn't help but think about my father's doctor. Why didn't he know about these? As I've come to find out, if he did know and recommended an alternative treatment for cancer, he could not only lose his license, but go to jail. This didn't make sense to me. It didn't make sense that Mary had to travel out of this country to get simple dietary treatments for cancer. Over the years, I've come to learn that when something doesn't make sense, if you follow the money, you'll usually find the answer. That's when I learned about the business of cancer. As you will soon discover, the search for a cure is hardly the altruistic endeavor you've been led to believe. In fact, it's quite the opposite. Even worse, when you look at the hard numbers, our current cancer treatments are appallingly ineffective. If you're a survivor of conventional cancer treatments, I both admire and congratulate you, because you've not only survived the disease, but the treatment. Unfortunately, you're part of a very small minority compared to the vast numbers of people who did not survive. And regardless how you may feel about conventional treatments, it's important that you watch this, because the chances cancer will return are almost certain unless you start making some big changes in your life. Over the years, there have been a lot of false claims and promises about cancer treatments, from quacks, charlatans, con artists, and snake oil salesmen, all raising hopes of a cure for cancer.
These quacks, once they get to a patient, anything can happen. Proper treatment can be delayed often until it's too late.
This fake device claimed to cure cancer with tape-recorded music. The practitioner who used it was as big a phony as his device. Help stamp out quackery.
Mom, a quack is a quack, whether he comes from the South Seas or lives right here in the city. All he's interested in is taking money from people.
But when it comes to taking money from people by making false claims, no one does it better than conventional mainstream medicine. A cure is just around the corner has been the standard public relations pitch used to pump money into the cancer industry. And it was as familiar to your parents as it is to you. The medical community has been working on a cure for well over 100 years. The war on cancer was simply a massive infusion of funds, which ended up creating a bloated and ineffective medical bureaucracy. Some of those involved in the war saw this from the very beginning. "14 years after the war began, a landmark study showed that chemotherapy, the main weapon in the war, was somewhat effective for only 2 to 3% of all cancer patients, primarily those with the rarest kinds of cancer. And things have not changed since then. Here are the results of a study of every randomized, controlled clinical trial performed in the U.S. between 1990 and 2004, which reported a statistically significant increase in 5-year survival due to the use of chemotherapy. What you see are goose eggs, or near goose eggs, for all of our major cancers. This latest study simply confirmed every study that has been conducted since the war on cancer began. The highest scores, testicular and Hodgkin's, represent only 2% of all cancers, and these rates are themselves not impressive. The medical profession generally considers any drug with less than 30% effectiveness to be no better than a placebo. What you see from studies conducted over the last 50 years is that for our major cancers, the effectiveness of conventional treatments is far less than a sugar pill.